What's up, everybody? Steve here. I hope you are doing well. If you have not heard yet, we have could be a massive hurricane coming to the Gulf Coast of Florida. And if you've been following the channel for a little bit, you probably know that I live over here in Southwest Florida. Currently, we reside in Naples, in Pelican Bay, right on the Gulf of Mexico. So it should be interesting times. And just a quick little story on this too. Whenever we have hurricanes that come in, we try to help out. We call a lot of people that we've sold real estate to. We help out friends and family and so forth, because during this point in time, a lot of people are not prepared. A lot of people do not have impact glass in their homes. And so we just try to get out. We try to get, stuff off of patios and everything else. It gets a little crazy right now. If you go into any kind of Walmart or Publix, all the water's gone. You go to gas stations, there's lines and lines and lines of cars. It almost becomes kind of eerie in terms of prepping and waiting for the hurricane. I'm originally from New Jersey, but I've lived here since 1999. I've been through several hurricanes, and it's interesting. It's eerie. The aftermath can be devastating as well. So for all of you guys that are in the state of Florida, I wish everybody well, because this thing could be a Cat 4 coming and hitting us. I think I'll do a video too. If you guys want to see the video of, us, because we're going to sit tight here in the condo here. But we have a buffer of, I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Let's see. We got a buffer, a good preserved buffer, and then the Gulf of Mexico right there. So, but these buildings are pretty strong. The impact glass and everything is to withstand 175 miles per hour. So we should be in good shape. But I do want to record some of it. So if you guys actually want me to post that kind of before, during, and aftermath on the channel, let me know in the description below, and we will get some footage out to you guys so you can take a look. Anyway, today I want to talk about a Wall Street Journal article, because I've been talking about this in previous videos about rent rates and how this could be devastating for real estate investors, for investors that are kind of new to investing as well. Because I had a prediction that we will see rent rates come down. Anything that's continually just going up parabolic, it has to have some sort of flattening or drop back down to reality. And rent rates are one of those things as well. And I have my own thoughts in terms of how and why they're going to be coming down. But this is an article from the Wall Street Journal. So let's just jump into it, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. But it goes on to say, rent rates drop for the first time in 2 years after climbing to records. Apartment rents are falling from record highs across the United States for the first time in nearly 2 years. Again, I was talking about this in a handful of other videos, where in the last real estate crash, there was a lot of overbuilding, of apartment complexes, and a lot of people moving out of the area in Southwest Florida anyway. And we had apartment complexes out there. All of a sudden, there's signs and balloons and everything else offering sometimes 2, sometimes 3 free months. So they're providing all these incentives to get people to come into their apartment complexes. August apartment asking rents nationally fell 0.1% from July, according to a report from property data company CoStar Group. It was the first monthly decline in rent since December 2020, the company said. Now, 0.1% doesn't sound like a lot, but it is showing the trend that prices are falling, and it's going to be beneficial for renters as well, because the cost of everything just has been devastating for a lot of people, especially people paycheck to paycheck. Apartment listing website rent.com showed a 2.8% decrease in rent for one-bedroom apartments during the same month. I think that's very important to understand. One-bedroom apartments during the same month, 2.8%. I know other people that are renting one-bedroom apartments here in Southwest Florida, over in the Estero area, and they're paying as much as $2,200 for a one-bedroom apartment. On average, I think they're about $1,800. I'm predicting, and I'll talk more about where I think the evolution of people renting with sky high rents, I think people are starting to team up. They're starting to team up, even living in 1-bedroom apartments. Back when I was in college, I got kicked out of living in the college dorms here at FGCU, and we were scrambling to find a place, and finally I found a small 1-bedroom apartment, and it was cheap. But as time progressed and other buddies moved out of the dorms as well, I had 2 other roommates all living in a 1-bedroom apartment. And that wasn't out of need necessarily. It helped with cost of living for sure. But it was just temporary until we can find another place. I think we're going to start seeing people just bunk up. They're going to, tag team and move in with other people, whether that's maybe a 2-bedroom, maybe even a 1-bedroom, where we're going to see people, some people living in, 2 people in 1 bedroom. Maybe they have a couple of twin beds in a bedroom to kind of combat the cost of housing. So as time progresses and that happens and people start to consolidate their living quarters, that's going to free up more inventory for rent, and that's going to basically provide more supply to the market, which in turn will bring down rent rates. A third measure by listing website Realtor.com also noted a slightly monthly decline in rent this August. Many economists say the rental market is likely to see more declines in the coming months. CoStar predicts that by the end of September, rent will have declined for the second straight month. Other analysts say they expect rents to decline on a monthly basis or remain flat throughout at least the end of the year. Rent is moderating for a combination of factors, analysts said, including an increase in new apartment construction, along with weakening consumer sentiment that might be discouraging people from signing more expensive apartment leases. So not only are people consolidating, moving in, say with a roommate or whatever the case is, there's people that are moving back in with their families. I did another video on another article in terms of the amount of I think it was the amount of college students that during the pandemic came back to live with family members, and I think it was like 70% and never moved back out. And why would you, when you could be living kind of for free in your family's homes and keeping that expense very low, especially when you're dealing with high inflation for food, gas, and everything else. So we're going to just continually see this more and more, and that's why I said early on, and I said this in a handful of other videos, if you guys are investing into real estate and you're relying on that cash flow, especially if you're taking debt, it's vital that you guys are, paying attention to the current rent rates and then maybe hedging a decline in rent rates for the future. And I've never seen rent rates this high ever in my entire career, and I'm a real estate broker as well, have been since 2003, real estate agent, real estate broker since 2006, owned our own real estate company. I've never seen it this astronomical, and I know that a correction needed to happen, and it's finally starting to happen. So look, if you're an investor, even right now when we're running numbers, let's say rent rates, closed out rent rates, not even what's active on the market, but I'm looking at like what has rented, and let's say it's $3,500. I'm maybe gonna take 80% of that, or maybe 85% of that, and use it as my real rent rate. I just want to be super conservative, because if rent rates do come down, which obviously it's happening, then I want to be prepared for that. I also want to be in a cash flow position. Now, what I think is going to happen is even a lot of these institutional investors, I did a video last week talking about the average cap rate in the United States, and it's like 4.5%. It's horrible. So a lot of the even institutional investors that got in, and they were relying on a certain rent rate, and now they're getting a little bit lower, that's making their cap rate even lower. And I think that we're going to start seeing these institutional investors as well as other investors put their properties on the market for sale, because they no longer make sense in terms of the income that they're getting. Not to mention, a lot of these institutional investors took on short-term debt too. So I saw a Ben Mallah video the other day, actually it was yesterday, and he was talking about he's kind of kicking himself because he didn't lock certain loans into fixed rate loans, and they're adjusting right now. And basically he's like, I'm, kicking myself because those loans have adjusted, and now it's less income coming into his pocket because he's paying more out in insurance. So I believe that we're going to see other institutional investors get hit with this, and they're going to be in a situation where they're going to have to make some hard decisions, whether to start selling off some of these properties or figuring creative solutions to get into different loans that are not going to be as high in terms of adjustable and so volatile with the market. So anyway, I appreciate you guys being here. If you guys do want to see what's going on with this hurricane, let me know. I might not have too many videos coming out this week because of the hurricane. We got to get out and help some other people prepare their properties, and so we got a lot of work to do today and tomorrow. And anyway, it's supposed to hit on Wednesday. We'll start feeling the winds tomorrow, and should be interesting. So if you're in Florida, stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys on the next video. See you.